I'm so thankful for God in our lives because without Him and His blessing, we would not have this drive and passion to be successful in this life that we live. I'd also like to say thank you to Central Florida College for allowing us to have this beautiful and prestigious event in such a time like this. Haven't 2020 been something else? But we're still standing here strong and able to do what we need to do in this life. I would also like to thank Pastor Chrissy Vickers, who I've gotten to meet and become friends with here recently. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak at such a beautiful and powerful event, the Women's Empowerment Women's Superwoman's Award. Thank you all for allowing me to be here today. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the women in my life who have been superwomen in their own right. My mother, whom I love dearly, lost her fiance, my father, when I was just 4 years old in a car accident. A woman who remarried and years into that marriage got shot due to domestic abuse. And years later, actually just a few years ago, she beat the snot out of breast cancer, as if her name was Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. Nothing has stopped that woman from continuing her work with Philip Morris, and after 23 years of her service, retired and built her own home to relax and enjoy the rest of her days. The woman I call my mother is the definition of a superwoman, because when most would have given up, she grabbed that step on Jacob's ladder and kept on climbing, because she knew her job was not done, leading by example of hard work ethic, passion, and just the outright hard work just to succeed at all costs. If it weren't for her, I would not be standing in front of you guys today, because she told me day in and day out, I have to work for what I want. I just have to say, Mother, if you're watching right now on Facebook, I love you and thank you for being who you are in my life. That superwoman has raised a superman.
All right.
My grandmother, Wiggins, at 89 years of age, cared and loved my grandfather, Captain Ernest Wiggins, who was 93 years old until this past Tuesday at 4:15 p.m., stood strong in what he believed in. But that woman stayed by his side, and when he couldn't feed himself, she fed him. Nothing in this world can prepare someone for the loss of your right hand, man or woman. But that lady stayed strong day in and day out, sometimes having to use her strength at her fragile age to pick a grown man up when he's fallen down, and still caring for him even when he was a stubborn mule. This woman I call my grandmother still loves every child, grandchild, and grandchildren as if they were her firstborn. And after 68 years of marriage, they have still been strong, showing that the foundation of a family is to stay strong for one another, love one another, and never let one another fall down to the fallen path of destruction. So to that woman, I say, Grandmother, you are the post-woman for all superwomen. As I stand in front of you all today, a room full of superwomen, and live interaction throughout social media of inspiring leaders, surgeons, lawyers, entrepreneurs, politicians, educators, and presidents, I see women who have and will continue to win elections, save lives, and make history. I see women who inspire others, not just in your family, not just in your work environment, but throughout your community. I know how hard you fought for your family, how deeply you care for those around you, and how much a difference you make because you simply take action. I smile at this moment because I'm standing in front of strong women, hardworking women who remind me of my mother, focused on the greater good, living with confidence, and knowing how to get it done in this world. This moment is not the end story to be told in your life, but this is a sign that your efforts have not gone in vain. This signifies the strength you hold in our community for us to accomplish so much more. I guarantee you none of our beginnings are exactly the same. None of our trials and tribulations occurred on the exact same day, same hour, or same second, but we all had the same mindset: to never give up, to never lay beaten, and to not be forgotten. You did not let the negativity of others or the inner demons of yourself restrain you from your success. Even when you had one last breath, you grasped that last breath of fight, courage, resilience, and you stayed alive. You finally looked at yourself in the mirror and said, I can make it. I can do whatever I want to do. I just got to simply do it. And while you're reminiscing on your journey, while you're all here for this beautiful accolade, some of you shed a tear of joy when you got that phone call or that email. And some of you shouted to the top of your lungs that you made it, that you finally did it, something bigger than oneself. And after you did that, you exhaled with some relief. And in just that instance, you told yourself, I'm going to use this platform, this success, to help others climb to their own success as well. You also did another thing, which is quite awesome, without even knowing it. Someone watched you create these opportunities, not for yourself to come get a wonderful accolade like today, but climbing that ladder, someone said, I want to be just like that person. And guess what? You're standing for a cause. You're creating a legacy, wealth, within the women's group here, who were beforehand lost, and your accomplishments like today, again, set an example for someone to strive for greatness, showing a young woman how to become a superwoman. So to my superwomen, my question to you, what will you do with this accolade? What will you do with this moment? How will you take this and inspire and set goals for others? They say beside every superwoman is a superman. So I'm telling you right now, do not be afraid. Stand proud of who you are. Because us men, we need you way more than we think, and definitely way more than we say. As Beyonce would say, women's power make the world go round. And I'm here to tell you it's the absolute truth. Without my mother's power, I would not understand the power and the unlimited reach of work ethic. Without my grandmother's power, I would not understand the foundation of a marriage that lasted 68 years. A man who kept breathing and talking strong until he took his last breath on Tuesday at 4:15. That's what I'm talking about. Your power makes the world go round. It's like superwomen have this extra oomph that we don't understand as men. Superwomen like my mother, like you, and like my grandmother, like Naomi Osaka, who is #1 in the world in tennis, who stood for racial injustice, and also having the pressure to win the U.S. Women's Tennis Championship in New York. At her 5'11" frame, Naomi was not afraid to battle the grounds in women's tennis. She was not afraid to stand for the racial injustice. And whenever she won, she took that trophy and raised it over her head for all to see, that when you stand for something legendary, something great, then nothing is going to stop you. That extra force, that extra super in her, pushed her to become legendary. You see how the super in that woman increased the super in me. To want to go out there and use my God-given talents to stand tall for others when they are weak, to stand strong for others when they need that helping hand. Your actions inspire the super in a man like me. To the mother out there who's working nonstop to provide for her children, do not stop. Continue to show the definition of work ethic, passion, love, and perseverance to never give up, because the situation is bigger than oneself. It's bigger than that temporary moment of doubt and pressure. Your will to succeed would not go unnoticed, I can promise you that, because for that woman, my mother inspired the super in me. For that woman who kept getting knocked down due to domestic abuse, keep standing up, and when you stand up, stand tall. Because for like you, like my mother, you inspired the super in me. For that woman who's had the burden to hold her first child's cold hand and having the heartbreak to kiss her husband one last time on that cold forehead, but still finding the time and the courage and the passion and the love to inspire her grandchildren and great-grandchildren to become sports agents, business owners, professors, Doctors, like my grandmother, you all inspire the super in me. Like many of you, my story is like your story. My family had to work hard to make ends meet. With my father passing, my mother had to be both mother and father. And on both sides of my family, my grandparents lent a helping hand, as well as my sister Paula, who's here today, as well as Tony, who's right beside her. Thank you both for being superwomen in my life. They raised me to be a strong, intelligent, and successful young man. My mother and my family believed in strong core values, faith, family, work ethic, and not settling for the average. And I stand in front of you today as a distinguished young man in my community. I like to consider myself still young. Because of my mother, a superwoman like all of you. She taught me to dress to impress, have a tongue for intellectual conversation for any relevance, and have the manners as if the royal blood flowed through my veins like the Mississippi River. The sense of integrity came from my mother, a superwoman like all of you. Her drive to survive was so palpable in any situation that I could not help to want to reach out and grasp those stars, become one of the best in this world with my God-given talent, because she taught me to be super in my own way. She raised me to be the man that stands in front of you, because today, I'm telling you, dreams have become reality because my role model, like you, is a superwoman. If I could leave you with any food of thought, because I'm sure you all can outcook me in the kitchen, let me give you a little appetizer to make you smile. You get what you believe, and if you're obedient to what you believe you are or want to become, guess what? You will become just that. This award ceremony is dedicated to superwomen who at some point realize to become super in your life, you decide to work super hard, get up super early, work super late, set your goals super high to supersede, to pass, and become the new. You became what you believed, a superwoman. You no longer resisted your destiny. You no longer stared down the rabbit hole of doubt, but you opened your mind to something bigger, to something grander, to something that would last longer than the temporary gratification. Your observation of others to be successful catapulted you to a new level of success and divine happiness. You finally found yourself no longer afraid to be super. So now you've become super, and again, I have to ask you, what are you standing for? Are you standing for a cause? Because if you are, when you stand for a cause, you stand for hundreds of and thousands of men and women. You're creating a legacy for others to follow. So again, I have to ask you, what are you going to do with this Superwoman's Award? How do you take this amazing honor and create knowledge and wealth for others to be super? In science, we're taught, in Newton's law, the third law of motion, that for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Some of us are attracted to a lot of things and expect a lot of things, but never receive or accomplish them because you don't understand the third law of motion. So to give you insight and to give you a little awareness on how to become super, it is not the law of attraction. Here's a little cheat code for you. It's the law of action. The law of action is the most simple and absolute form of being what you want to be and what you believe you can be. If you increase your action, your results are increased. Increase your vision, and the universe will work in your favor. The law of action creates a stir, a wave of influence, of success, of pride, a shift in your household, a shift in your work environment, a shift in your business, a shift in your community. This is the reason why you all are celebrated today, because you understood and mastered the most absolute form of becoming successful. You amplified the law of action, and you became super. Now, to those who are saying to yourself, it's my time, I'm next in line, I'm going to be what I aspire to be. For those who look up to the women we celebrate today, do not be afraid to ask them how to properly use this law of action to blossom the super in you. Do not be afraid to step out of the darkness of shyness or indecision to commit to the super in you. Because this is what this moment is for, to show you how to become super. Take this moment to recollect and think. Look at those around you. How can you reach out to them and say, what can I do? How can I do more of to become the super I believe I am? Because deep down inside, each and every one of you have it, whether male or female. Become that Superman and become that Superwoman. You have to just believe the super in you and take action. You have to be obedient to your destiny. Be obedient to who and what you've been inspired to be. Do not be super bad in a super good way. Because this moment like this is created to inspire the super in you. And I leave you with this. To all superwomen, and some of your aspiring men that are here, I see a few of you here. Good to see you. I want you to realize one thing. This award was not given because it came easy to these superwomen. Nah, they had to work hard. They had to go through the trenches. They had to cry at times. Some of them bled. They had to stand tall after getting knocked down. They have to go job after job after job to make ends meet. So this is why they become legendary. This is why they stand for a cause. And this is why they're getting this award, because they believe the super in them is now, and it will hold forever. Their legacy would not be from this plaque that they receive in this trophy. It will be from the hard work that they endured to celebrate this victory. So with this victory, take it, hold on to it, but share it. Whenever you take this award and you go home or you go to your office, tell your story, because this is what this is all about. Tell your story of trials and tribulations, defeats and victories. When you're at home and your family sees this trophy or this plaque, guess what? You need to continue to quench this love to inspire success, because it's your love, it is your hard work, it is your undying will to be successful in this life we live that will inspire others to be super. So to all superwomen, I say to you, the beautiful, the relentless, and the intelligent, I simply love you, and I thank you all for being super. God bless.